Assalamu alaikum brothers and sisters. I hope you are well. In this video we will talk about time travel. The 20th century scientist Albert Einstein developed a theory called special relativity. The ideas of special relativity are very hard to imagine because they aren't about what we experience in everyday life. Because they aren't about what we experience in our everyday life, but scientists have confirmed them. This theory says that space and time are really aspects of the same thing, space-time. There is a speed limit of 300,000 kilometers per second for anything that travels through space-time. And light always travels the speed limit through empty space. Special relativity also says that a surprising thing happens when you move through space-time. Especially when your speed relative to other objects is close to the speed of light. Time goes slower for you than for the people you left behind. You won't notice this effect until you return to those stationary people. Say you were 15 years old when you left Earth in a spacecraft traveling at about 99.5% of the speed of light, which is much faster than we can achieve now, and spent 5 years in the space. When you get home at the age of 20, you would find that all your classmates were 65 years old. Because time passed more slowly for you. You will have experienced only 5 years of life, while your classmates will have experienced a full 50 years. So, if your journey began in 2003, it would have taken you only 5 years to travel to the year 2053. Whereas it would have taken all of your friends 50 years. In a sense, this means you have been time traveling. This is a way of going to the future at a rate faster than 1 hour per hour. Time travel of a sort also occurs for objects in gravitational fields. Einstein had another remarkable theory called general relativity, which predicts that time passes more slowly for objects in gravitational fields like here on Earth, than for objects far from such fields. So there are all kinds of space and time distortions near black holes where the gravity can be very intense. Now what about time travel to the past? You might have seen many science fiction movies where they travel to the past, right? And some of them meet their own relatives or even themselves in the past. Practically and scientifically that's not possible. If you are living in the present, you cannot go to the past and meet your parents while they were young, because they are already living in the future with you. So that's all nonsense. Look at scientifically, according to relativity, as you travel, your clock ticks slower according to an observer. You can almost get it to stop, but you would have to go faster than the speed of light to make it go backwards. That is impossible. In Islamic text, time travel is not explicitly mentioned while time dilation is clearly mentioned. Keep watching, I'll explain both. Time travel. Few verses does give a clear picture of variation in the rates of flow of time at certain places for certain individuals. Let's have a look. 1. Companions of the cave. In Surat al-Kahf of glorious Quran, we find mentioned a few young men who left their town fearing persecution at the hands of a non-believer king, hid themselves in a cave, eventually slept. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made them sleep for 309 years. When they woke up, they thought that they had slept for only a day or so, and they sent one of them back to the city to buy food. His use of old silver coins revealed the presence of these youth to the town. For the people in town, they were time travelers who came from the past. We can say that time flowed really slowly for those men in cave. This is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's power works. Though Allah Almighty doesn't need any physical phenomenon for any action to be done. But to scientifically explain the phenomenon, we can say that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala stopped the flow of time in that cave. So that's how Allah Almighty made them travel in time. Even normal people in normal conditions feel that they have slept for a short time after taking really long naps. Anyways, let's move ahead. Number 2, Prophet Uzair alayhi salam and his donkey. Similarly, Prophet Uzair alayhi salam slept for 100 years. Uzair alayhi salam was a saint and a wise man. He went out one day to his own farm as was his custom. About noon, he came to a deserted ruined place and felt the heat. He entered the ruined town and dismounted his donkey. Taking figs and grapes in his basket, he went under the shade of a tree and ate his food. Then he got up to look at what remained of the ruins. The people had long been lost, and he saw bones. In the Quran, 2-259, oh! How will Allah ever bring it to life after its death? He said this not of doubt but out of curiosity. Allah sent the angel of death to take his life. He remained dead for 100 years. After 100 years had passed and there had been changes in Israelite affairs, Allah sent an angel upon Uzair alayhi salam to revive his heart and his eyes in order for him to feel and see how Allah revives the dead. The angel said, "For how long did you sleep?" He said, "A day or part of a day." He said this because he knew he had slept early in the afternoon and woke up late in the afternoon. The angel said, "You remained asleep for 100 years. He ate and drank the food which he had prepared before he was overtaken by that long sleep. Then angel revived his donkey." Almighty Allah said in the Quran, 2-259, "And look at your donkey. Thus we have made of you a sign for the people. Look at the bones, how we bring them together and clothe them with flesh." When this was clearly shown to him, he said, "I know now that Allah is able to do all the things." For the people of the city where he rose after 100 years, he was a time traveler who came from the past. Number 3, Prophet Isa alayhi salam. Jesus, Prophet Isa alayhi salam was saved from the crucifixion and ascended up into heavens by Allah the Exalted, and will come down earth near the end of times to kill Dajjal, the Antichrist. The Holy Quran says, Quran Surah Nisa, verse 157,158, "And surely they killed him not. But Allah raised him onto himself." We people could see him as a time traveler who, despite being born thousands of years ago, would arrive with the same age near the end of the times on earth. Number 4, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam traveled across 7 skies to meet Allah the Exalted. It was nothing less than a so-called time travel when Holy Prophet traveled such huge distances in a very short span of time. In the Quran Surat Al-Isra, verse 1, "Praise be to Allah who enabled his slave, Muhammad, to make the journey at night from Masjid al-Haram in Makkah to Masjid al-Aqsa in Jerusalem, which is surrounded by a blessed land." Some scholars say the Prophet's journey took about 1/3 of night, i.e., his journey from Makkah to Jerusalem, then to the heavens and what is above them, and then back to Makkah. Again, let me make clear that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not constrained by the laws of the universe we see. But to explain this phenomenon, we can say he used a wormhole sort of medium to cross the 7 skies. Or maybe some other medium or way which we humans are unaware of in 2023. Allah Almighty is not limited by the physics of the universe, wormholes, speed of propagation, etc. We see in order to call his beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to him. It's us, the creation, who need to obey the laws of universe, not the Creator. So clearly in this Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam traveled in time. Subhanallah. Let me show you how Allah Almighty has mentioned time dilation in glorious Quran in the Quran, 22:47. Yet they ask the to hasten on the punishment, but will not fail in his promise. Verily a day in the sight of the Lord is like 1,000 years of your reckoning. Means a day near Allah is like a 1,000 years period near us. Clearly, this verse is talking about the phenomenon about the time dilation in universe. The verse from Surah Al-Sajdah says, Quran 32-5, "He rules all affairs from the heavens to the earth. In the end will all affairs go up to him on a day. The space whereof will be as 1,000 years of reckoning." Same as the last verse in the Quran, 70-4. "The angels and the Spirit ascend unto him in a day whereof is as 50,000 years. Now in this verse the magnitude of time dilation is different. Here one day near Allah is equated as 50,000 years of period near us. Isn't it worth wondering how a 14th century old text is giving us such clear signs of the mysterious nature of the universe? Yet people are dubious about the validity of Holy Quran as the final message from their Creator. And Islam is the complete way of life for humanity approved by their Creator. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us with a true understanding of His book. Ameen. May Allah guide us and grant us deep understanding. Ameen. That's all for this video guys. Until then, Assalamu alaikum.